Welcome to Stanton House's Future of Finance podcast, where we explore the evolving landscape of accounting and finance. In today's episode, we delve into the world of sustainability and how developments in this area are impacting, and some might say, transforming corporate reporting. The UK government is expected to endorse the International Sustainability Standards Board, ISSB, standards any day now, leading to the disclosure of sustainability-related risks and opportunities in a company's annual report. In the long term, there is CSRD, the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, which, while undergoing some revisions right now, will again require disclosure in a company's annual report. So as companies prepare to implement these standards, it's crucial for finance leaders to understand and adapt to these changes. To provide expert insight, we're joined by Kirsty Law, CFO of Sustainability at OFI. We have supported OFI over a number of years with recruitment into Kirsty's team and others, and we love how they've been so proactive with sustainability as a whole. So Kirsty, thank you so much for being here today. Would you mind sharing a little bit more about your background and your current role within OFI?
Hi Danielle, of course, and I'm very pleased to join you today. Thank you for having me. Let's start with a little bit about me. I'm a chartered accountant, and probably like many of your candidates, after qualifying with the Big Four, KPMG for me, I fairly swiftly left practice and moved into industry. I joined Vodafone, and initially I held a number of technical finance roles, and over time I moved into finance roles that were a little bit more commercial and strategic, and eventually I moved into investor relations. It was with investor relations that then I moved into a variety of sectors: medical technology, electronics, oil and gas, leasing, and then finally to OFI, where I am today. So for those of you not familiar with OFI, that stands for Olam Food Ingredients, a global ingredient supplier to the food and beverage industry. And OFI has market-leading positions across cocoa, coffee, dairy, nuts and spices. And with this great portfolio of natural ingredients, I think you can see why sustainability is really important to us. And so nearly 2 years ago, I became the first CFO of the sustainability function in OFI.
Thank you, Kirsty. Really appreciate that, and really glad that you can be with us today. It really is such an important role that you've got within OFI. So I think it'd be good to maybe start with talking a little bit more about sort of reporting standards. So it'd be good to understand what are the key requirements of the ISSB standards, which we're expecting in the UK very soon.
Sure. So ISSB, that's the International Sustainability Standards Board. That's an independent body. It's actually part of the IFRS Foundation, and their standards are a global set of sustainability disclosure requirements. What they're aiming to do is to create a consistent and comparable reporting in the area of sustainability, particularly to help investors and capital markets. And they're trying to do this by requiring stronger connectivity between the disclosures that are typically held in the front half of an annual report to the financial statements that are usually in the back half. Now, when you think about IFRS reporting requirements, many of you will immediately think about data. The ISSB standards, along with many other sustainability requirements, actually start with a risk-based materiality approach. And they start with qualitative disclosure over your identified material sustainability topics. So back to ISSB, there are two main standards, S1 and S2. Both focus on sustainability-related risks and opportunities and explore how these could impact the financial performance of your business. S2 is all about climate risks and opportunities, and S1 is the overarching standard that covers all other sustainability topics until such a time that there are standalone standards for each, for example. So I think we might have S3, S4 in the future and so on.
Right, interesting. So yeah, so the standards really aim to create a global baseline for sustainability reporting, and it makes it easier for investors to compare companies' sustainability performance. That makes sense. So which companies would you say are going to be affected with these new reporting standards, and what are the timelines for compliance?
So this very much depends on the location of the companies in your group of companies that you work for. So for ISSB, a number of countries in Asia and South America have already adopted these standards. For other countries, they are in advanced stages of adoption. And if we look at the UK has confirmed its intentions to adopt the ISSB standards. So as I said just now, the standards are primarily aimed at companies with public accountability or significant investor interest. So large listed companies would typically be in scope for ISSB. The specific details of which companies are in scope, that will be clarified in the local regulations once they're confirmed in each country. And of course, after ISSB, we have CSRD on the horizon. As you said, these are the most comprehensive suite of sustainability reporting requirements to date. While CSRD is a European regulation, it actually has a global reach. So, for example, companies with headquarters outside of Europe, including those groups registered and headquartered in the UK, could still be in scope for CSRD if they have European companies that individually meet the threshold criteria. And eventually those UK registered groups will also come into scope for CSRD, as the regulations will eventually look at UK companies with significant turnover in Europe as well. Now, CSRD is quite a complex regulation to apply. Many groups might actually decide that reporting just for their European companies is inefficient. That inefficiency could be in terms of allocating company resources, as well as limited value in terms of decision useful information. So your company may actually decide to report for the whole group ahead of mandatory requirements.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so how should companies prepare for integrating sustainability disclosures into their financial reports?
Sustainability reporting is all based around risk, and I'm going to share with you now a simple 5-step framework for good sustainability reporting. This underpins all of the reporting that I believe is on the horizon, and it starts with risk. Are the risks to your company properly identified? The second part is strategy. How does your strategy address and manage those risks? The third part is impact, and this is the effect that your company can have on natural resources, society, climate, and this can be both positive and negative impact. The fourth pillar is metrics. What KPIs and data do you use to measure and track your company's ESG performance? And finally, targets. What sustainability objectives have you set for your company to drive improvement in key areas of ESG? Now, over time, sustainability disclosure is moving from qualitative to quantitative information. And the final piece, actually really important not to forget, is assurance over sustainability processes and data is also on the horizon. So think about how internal audit can support you prepare for this. Companies need to plan very carefully and early for sustainability reporting. It needs typically a lot of collaboration across a number of teams in the company to make this work.
What challenges might businesses face in collecting and reporting the required sustainability data?
So collecting sustainability data can actually be very complex. ESG data is often much more difficult to collect than core financial data. For example, in sustainability, you will regularly hear about challenges with data accuracy, completeness, and manual processes. And unlike financial reporting processes, companies often don't have suitable systems to gather and consolidate sustainability data. Financial data and reporting processes have had decades now to become established under a clear set of reporting standards, the IFRS, for example, whereas sustainability data and reporting processes are still in their infancy and very much trying to play catch up with this. So it's really, really critical for companies to engage with your IT and finance teams early to establish the most appropriate reporting process for your company. My biggest piece of advice here is really engage with your finance teams early. And I'm a CFO and I have 2 currencies. That's the way I like to look at this. So like any other CFO, my currency would be the dollar, the pound, the euro, whatever yours is. My second currency is actually, it could be trees, it could be number of women farmers, it could be the litres of fertiliser we use. And you've got to treat that second currency just like you would your principal reporting currency and functional currency. You need to report, you need assurance, you need data and systems, just like you would for your dollars.
I love that terminology. Great. And yeah, it must be hard to obtain that information. And you touched upon sort of the finance teams specifically. So how is the role of CFOs and finance teams evolving with the increasing emphasis on sustainability reporting? And what sort of specific skills or competencies are becoming essential for finance professionals in light of these new requirements?
So sustainability reporting is finding a home in a company's annual report. So it's no surprise that finance teams are evolving to take on that responsibility. And just for a bit of context, the first wave of companies that report under CSRD, these are the European public companies, they've reported CSRD reports in their annual report that are on average 90 pages long. So you can see that everyone that's already involved in creating annual reports each year adds another 90 pages to that. This sits with the finance team.
Yeah.
And it makes total sense that finance professionals should take a significant responsibility in sustainability reporting, not just because of its home in the annual report, but there are similarities in finance and sustainability skills. They are so significant. There's the understanding of the process, the risk management, controls, data accuracy, targets, reporting, compliance, and assurance, All of those are core finance processes, and you need exactly the same skill set and processes in sustainability reporting as well.
Absolutely. And so beyond compliance, how can robust sustainability reporting enhance a company's reputation or investor relations? And what does sustainability reporting play in long-term business value and resilience?
Effective risk management and transparent disclosure and reporting. This is all key ingredients for investors. They want to have comparable information to compare different companies across sectors within sectors. Sustainability information plays a very key role for investors as they assess a company's long-term financial outlook. Sustainability information helps them to make forward-looking investment decisions, just like financial information would. I think when you also look at sustainability compliance and reporting, it also demonstrates the company's corporate accountability and commitment to long-term value creation. All of these things are critical for robust reputation and risk management, and therefore key for all companies to consider. I would also add, importantly, that investors also want sustainability reporting in a pragmatic way. Complying with sustainability regulatory requirements is currently proving to be a very big challenge for many companies, both from a cost and a resource perspective. And so while investors absolutely want and welcome this, there's also a pragmatic point to this too.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've worked with on both sides, so you get the real understanding of what they may want. OFI has been on this journey for a little while now. So are you able to share how OFI has approached sustainability reporting and the lessons already learned from implementing these new practices?
Yes, so OFI recognised a long time ago that embedding sustainability activities into our core business operations made very good business sense. I mentioned earlier that we have a supply of natural ingredients. And actually, when you look at that business model, that is only going to continue into the future if the natural environment, the farming communities, and the climate conditions support the ongoing supply of these products. And we operate sustainability activities throughout our supply chains across our entire product range. We have quite comprehensive sustainability teams embedded into each business. And we also have a central function to drive overall delivery for sustainability for the group overall. And I'm a part of that function. From a reporting perspective, I also have a team called Finance for Sustainability, who lead on the reporting and assurance aspects of sustainability, and we support the value side too. So we are very lucky in OFI that we take sustainability extremely seriously, and we've embedded this through all of the operational and organisational structure.
Absolutely. And what advice would you offer to companies embarking on their sustainability reporting journey?
So you've used the word journey, and I think that's really important. The good news is that we are all on this journey. We are, however, at many different stages of maturity. And I can tell you this evolves daily and still has a long way to go. If your company hasn't yet started on this journey, please do it soon. Cross-functional collaboration to deliver sustainability in this way that is fit for your business actually takes quite a bit of time to establish. And perhaps, unlike finance, there is much support for your efforts and progress in this space. Progress in sustainability is valued above perfection. And that's quite an unusual concept for finance professionals to become comfortable with. Do reach out to your peers or the many networks there are in sustainability. There is already so much information in the public domain that will help you. And of course, this includes using AI as well. I think most importantly, make sure that you work cross-functionally in your business. Sustainability really does span so many teams in your company, from operations, procurement, and of course, finance. And building your finance muscle to be able to cover not just your dollar currency, but also your sustainability will really, really benefit you.
Absolutely. Well, Kirsty, thank you so much for sharing your insight and experience with us today. It's clear that the upcoming requirements will have significant impact on how businesses operate and report, and that finance leaders will play a pivotal role in ensuring both compliance and long-term value creation. Thank you to everyone else for joining us on this episode of Stanton House's Future of Finance podcast today. We hope you found the discussion both informative and thought-provoking as you prepare for the evolving demand of sustainability reporting. If you'd like to know more about topics discussed or how Stanton House can support your finance team's growth and ESG readiness, be sure to visit our website or connect with us on LinkedIn today. Thank you.